Hello, my name is Gladys. I'm going to be talking about the wild strawberry, also known as the Fragaria vesca. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's okay. So the natural history, the first mention of strawberries was sometime between 234 to 149 BC. The first colonists in America shipped the native larger strawberry plants back to Europe as early as the 1600s. Although they have been around for thousands of years, strawberries were not actively cultivated until the Renaissance period in Europe. At one point in the 12th century, they were even deemed inedible due to growing so close to the ground that it was believed rodents and reptiles such as toads would contaminate the fruit. The name strawberry was believed to come from London when children would pierce them with straw and sell them as straws of berries. Um, the strawberries that originated in North America were far more superior than the ones from any other geological location. They were bigger, more flavorful, and more beautiful, which are like the ones that are you're seeing here. Those are the ones that everybody was trying to cultivate. Around the late 1600s is when it was first produced with different variables to produce a larger fruit. So that's where they did a couple of experiments to see what it was going to take to make the bigger, more flavorful, and more beautiful fruits. They were originally grown everywhere from the woods, the mountaintops, and even by the sea. So they're not very picky about where they grow. The ecological role, relationship with other species that are non-human. Many types of wildlife depend on the wild strawberry as a food source. Humans use the plant leaves for medicinal purposes or eat its receptacle, which is the food source. Even rabbits and guinea pigs use this wild strawberry to treat constipation and in cattle to treat red water fever. Its one pest is the black vine weevil that eats its leaves. And on the picture here, it just shows all of the animals that eat the strawberries, which seems like it's a lot of the woodland creatures and birds and some bugs. Wild strawberries are known to be a producer. They use photosynthesis to convert the sun's energy into glucose. It also converts carbon dioxide to oxygen, which is highly important for all organisms. Wild strawberries are used in traditional remedies as laxatives and diuretics, um, which is medicine that helps reduce fluid buildup in the body. Aside from the health benefits that strawberries contain, such as vitamin C, more vitamin C than oranges, and a significant amount of protein and fiber, strawberries can cause a significantly amount of damage to the environment through their production processes. With their high amount of irrigation requirements, excessive pesticides, harmful nitrogen fertilizers, use of plastic packaging, and high carbon footprint has created a huge strain to the environment. I know this is mainly more of like the common strawberry that you see in the stores now, but it all originated from like the wild strawberry. So, and I thought it would be an important factor to include just so that we are aware of the harms that it can create with the environment and what we can do to stop it. Um, Factors include like land requirements. They do take up quite a bit of land, the ones that are cultivated for like the ones that are sold in the store. The water footprint is also pretty high, with requiring 50 to 70 inches of water per year. Most of the water coming from irrigation, the agrochemical usage. There's lots of high pesticides and fertilizer usage, the environmental destruction caused by pesticides and nitrogen fertilizers. The carbon footprint, um, it's mainly due to the irrigation requirements, the high pesticide use, and the plastic packaging. And the waste generation, it's also high. The very fact that plastic packaging is low, recycled, and composting rates are high, and they have a short shelf life. Recycling rates are recycling rates being low at around 9%, meaning that the majority of strawberries packaging is ending up in landfills. All of these are huge impacts to the environment. And if you wanted to get a little bit more information on the environmental impacts of strawberries, the negative environmental impacts of strawberries, then you can go ahead and pause here and take a quick look at it. So here are a few ways to reduce the negative environmental effects of strawberries. Buying strawberries without plastic packaging. Uh, Doing so, you can get strawberries or honestly any other produce in non-plastic packaging. So like on the lower right, you can see that they're here the produce or the strawberries are put into wax produce boxes, and those are a lot more environmentally friendly than plastic. You can also buy strawberries from ecological farms as they are more environmentally conscious of how they grow their strawberries. And then lastly, you can compost and recycle. The growth of the wild strawberry, it is a native perennial, which means it never fully dies as it is able to remain alive in winter conditions. This is almost the same as like grass, like and during the winter seasons, it just kind of like lays dormant until the winter passes and then it gets like all bright again. Depending on the amount of light and the location, it grows to a height of 5 to 20 centimeters and spreads through its many runners, which I'll explain a little bit more here in a bit. The wild strawberry commonly lives under full or partial sun. It's able to tolerate shade since it develops early in the spring. However, it prefers rich soil and moist conditions. They will typically ripen in June, July. The wild strawberry grows white flowers that contain 5 petals, which is the picture that I've included here to the side. That's what one of the flowers that it grows looks like. And here's what I was talking about for the growth of new strawberries, the runner that I was speaking of earlier. Here, strawberries will grow what are called stolon, which is the same thing as a runner. And so what strawberries are essentially doing is they are sending out a horizontal stem. Once that stem finds a soil patch that like would aid in optimal growth, it will start to lay roots there. Once the root system has been established, then the daughter plant will start to thrive, and then that's when the stolon will dry up, and the daughter plant will end up being its own independent plant. Here we can see a map of where wild strawberries have been recorded, past and present. So we're only going to be looking at the ones that say Vesca. So as you can see here, the ones that are from the past are the ones with the open circle, open red circle, and those are mainly in South America along the coastal lines. In the Americas, you can also see that they're mainly along the coastal areas, mountaintop areas, and then a little bit here off to the side. And in Eurasia, which comprises of Europe and Asia, it looks like they're a lot more common there than they are in the US. Zooming into the US, so here is the US map of presence of the wild strawberry. So what these ones mean is the brown, it means that they are not found there at all. The yellow means that the species is present and rare, so like they are there occasionally, but it's not very common. The light green is where the species is present and not rare, so you will find them there, but it's not going to be an always type of thing. And then the dark green is where the species is present and native, so they've kind of always been growing there. And I found it very interesting that in these states here where it mentions that they are not seen at all, I thought it was really interesting that they are surrounded by states and areas that they are native. So I thought it was actually really interesting that they are divided by like state line, like the strawberry just somehow just doesn't pass the state. Um, and like Nevada too, like it has nothing, but then like the areas around it does. But I'm not too surprised on this one just because it does have light green areas, which means that it's not super common, even though it is. So, but yeah, these ones here on the lower right, I thought that was really interesting to see that. And then here are two adaptations of the wild strawberry. One of them is fire, which has it has a high resistance to fire and will not always die after a wildfire and will in fact thrive immediately after a fire. For seed dispersal, after an animal such as birds or mammals eat a strawberry, it will disperse the seeds after digestion and be fertilized, aiding in optimal plant growth. And then here's my resources if you wanted to check that out as well, you can. Okay, thank you. Bye.